So Netflix has just dropped a new sci-fi action film from South Korea, Jung-E. This film is from the director of Train to Busan, and because I am a simple idiot bogan Australian man who has barely mastered the English language and, all the words, I'm not even going to attempt to say the director's name or any of the actors in fear of botching them. Because I'll botch them. Train to Busan is one of the best zombie films ever made. It is emotionally devastating. The heroes are brilliant. The villains are horrific. Everything is working on every single level. It is just firing on all cylinders. Just what a film. So my expectations were so high for this film. And that really affected my viewing experience because this film, not as good. Maybe my expectations ruined the film because they were just so high. They were just like right up here. And then like every scene happened and it was like, oh my God, are we down here now? Oh my God. The film is set in a post-apocalyptic future in which there is a civil war going on and our main heroes are a bunch of tech engineers and they're trying to clone the brain of this old war veteran hero into a new robot body, put her brain in the robot body and win the war. But twist, the main engineer is the daughter of this old war veteran. And so she is now older than her mum in this AI robot body. So the whole film centers around this daughter as she tries to make her mother this new AI hero for the civil war and to save the world. And at times it's really disappointingly generic and it falls into the trappings of a kind of AI sci-fi story that we've seen 100 times. But then there's little moments and glimpses of this really powerful human story, this story about a mother and a daughter. And then it starts dealing with some really interesting ethical kind of situations where you have this old war hero who is now essentially just a product of a company and, they're selling toys of her. And what can they do and how will they utilize this, face that was a hero all those years ago who is now just like a face they can put on to any robot into any situation. And at times they play with that in really interesting and horrifying and thought-provoking ways. But I feel like all the really interesting little nuggets and all the really powerful emotional stuff with the daughter and this mother who, died when she was a child and now she's an adult and now she's looking at her mother, but the mother's a robot, and all those really interesting things get kind of weighed down by a pretty slow, kind of at times unfortunately quite dull, just generic sci-fi story. The cast is all spectacular. Everyone does a really, really good job. Some of the humor is pretty funny and a bit weird and odd. Some of the action is really energetic and fun, but most of the action is right up the front and then right at the end. So it really is more of a kind of a slow burn drama. And I think at times it's trying to be kind of really interesting and thought-provoking, but it never kind of reaches the heights of, say, like an Ex Machina. And then the action feels a bit more self-serious, so you never get this kind of crazy robot-human hybrid augmentation kind of madness that maybe you might get in like a Alita Battle Angel, where they kind of have a lot of fun and kind of wild, crazy ideas. This kind of goes in a more realistic, serious path, so if that's your cup of tea, you're going to enjoy it quite a lot, I think. But if you're looking for a little bit more fun and craziness and wild ideas with the AI kind of human/robot kind of situation, you might be a little disappointed. Now, I didn't hate this film by any stretch of the imagination, but I did find the first half I was like reaching for the phone to play just like a cheeky little game of Clash Royale, and then I was like, oh, but it's I have to read the subtitles because it's in Korean, and I was like, do I switch it to English so I can play a game? So it was entertaining on a level, but there was that other level where I'm like, I could just half watch this. But then there's kind of like a turning point where I think it gets far more interesting and it starts kind of playing with these kind of really interesting AI themes and ideas and all that stuff, all that's good stuff. But by the end, it kind of ends on this note where I'm like, yeah, as soon as the film started, I knew we were going to end here. And it did, and there was nothing in between that made me go, oh, but that little moment here. In fact, there are a couple of decisions, and I understand story-wise why they had to happen, that kind of made me feel like it was like stopping itself from really having a good emotional kind of moment that was really kind of wanting at the end. Like, they do it, but because of a couple of decisions, I felt like it didn't pack the punch that I was really hoping for. Visually, the film is stunning. There is particularly some outside exterior shots of kind of the flooded world in this post-apocalyptic landscape that we live in now in this world that were truly beautiful. Really reminded me of Reminiscent, that Hugh Jackman film that nobody saw. For me, unfortunately, it kind of falls into kind of the lower rank of mid-tier, it was okay, AI robot sci-fi sci-fi stories. Whereas if I think about other things like Westworld Season 1, Original Recipe RoboCop, and other films of that ilk, I feel like this film is lacking in just little bits here and there that just make it feel more generic. But, you know, it's on Netflix, there's the weekend coming up, so yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen on Netflix by a long mile. Like, you know, for a Netflix movie, it's pretty great, but for like a big blockbuster sci-fi drama action film, it's unfortunately just okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. I'd love to know what everyone thought of Jung_E.